Hello everyone. I wanted to share this heart message of the week about heart prayers. This is something that I've found myself sharing more and more with people, with clients, with friends. So I thought I'd share this with you guys, and it's about praying from the heart. I know that Greg Braden talks a lot about this. So does Drumvalo Melchizedek, and I'm sure in many other religions and philosophy they talk about this prayer from the heart. So basically, when you pray from your heart, when you set these intentions, it has to be sincere, it has to be heartfelt, and it has to be a pure desire. And this is really your soul's power. It is to create change and transformation through desire. That's actually all you need, and this is also very much linked to your will. And so just by doing this, you can set about change and healing, and you can start to create transformation just by setting these pure, sincere desire from your heart. Now, what I used to do and what I see a lot of people doing now is praying, but praying from the wounded self, praying from the wounded ego, from the victim, from when you're in desperation, you buy into these negative beliefs and you buy into being trapped and limited by your circumstances. And a lot of the times when you pray from your heart and you set these intentions, if it's coming from the wounded ego or from the wounded self, that's why it's not working. Because when you pray from that, at least I'm speaking from my experience, what often happens is that you don't want to deal with the consequences. You don't want to be responsible or accountable for your choices, for where you are now. And a lot of the times you don't want to do the work that it takes to get to where you need to be or want to be, or whatever it is that you want to create in your life. So that's why these wounded ego-based prayers don't work. And what you're doing actually is you are reinforcing the pattern by crying from this wounded place, or setting these desires from this wounded self. I hope that makes sense. If not, you can ask your questions below and I'll try to answer. So this is something that I sort of discovered maybe 6 years ago when I was in one of my lowest points, one of many. And I'll just share with you the story so that you perhaps can relate. So I was struggling to process a deep wound of betrayal and all of that, and I was carrying this for about 2 years. And it got to a point where it was consuming me. It was consuming my thoughts, it was consuming my whole being, my behavior, and I was not able, for the life of me, to process this wound. I was not capable of forgiving, basically. So it got to a point where I just sat down in my altar, I called in my guides and my angels and God, and I connected to my heart, to my soul, and I prayed. This is exactly what I did, and I really meant it. And I remember in the moment I said, I will do whatever it takes. Like, just get this thing out of me, because I'm not capable of processing this deep wound. I was unwilling. But in terms of the prayer, I was sincere, and the fact that I really meant it. Like, I will do whatever it takes now. I'm done with this. Just help me. And then I went about my day and I completely forgot about what I asked for. The next day I had the biggest breakdown of my life, one of many, and I just started grieving and crying, and I could not stop. And I was a little bit confused because I didn't know what it was about. I totally forgot about setting that intention and that prayer, and I really grieved for about 3 weeks. It was a deep one, and also there was a lot of resistance on my part. That's why it took so long, I think. But anyway, after about 2-3 weeks, I connected with my guides again, and I said, what is this about? Because I don't understand what's happening to me. And the message that I got was, you asked for this. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I did ask for this, and my prayer was answered. And then it helped me obviously to release that much more as I surrendered to this whole grieving process. So when you ask, and when it's sincere, when it's soul-based, and you really mean it, in the sense that you will hold yourself accountable and responsible, and you will do what it takes, things can change in the blink of an eye. In 24 hours, things will start changing for you. And since then, I have been practicing this, and I see this like a muscle that you can start to build and strengthen. And this is what I see a lot of people lack. So when they're in this desperate place, when they're wounded and they're looking for healing, or they want to change a pattern, they pray or they set intentions from their wounded ego, from just wanting to change the effects, but not actually do any of the work. Like processing emotions is a big example. So I thought I'd share this tip. You don't have to try hard. This is the thing. It's not about trying or like forcing anything. There is no force. It's actually very gentle, and I'll almost feel like it's nothing, at least from my sense, but it has to be sincere, and it has to be heartfelt, and it has to come from your soul, from your soul's desire. And if you do that, it's very powerful. And now, I've been using this more and more, and sharing this with a lot of people recently. So this is something that you can start practicing as of now. And you have to check in with yourself. So when you're setting these heartfelt, sincere desires, ask yourself, is this coming from a sincere place? Is this coming from my soul, or is this just my wounded ego crying, wanting to be saved and just wanting my life to change without actually doing any of the work? And also know that sometimes it can take time. I remember not long ago, I was doing these heart prayers, and a week later I had the solution, or a physical manifestation of what I asked for, which was incredible. This is my heart message. Start praying from your heart, so that you can start to develop the soul will, the soul muscle, I guess, soul will muscle, and so that your whole life can change.